Says we're offline. Still says we're offline. Still says we're offline. Oh, now we're live. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we're all good. Still says we're off. Can you hear me? Okay. Am I too loud? Everything
Yeah, you're
good?
fine. Yeah.
I had to turn my microphone settings down slightly, and I was worried that I was going to be too quiet because it doesn't even look like my call recorder's picking me up. What is?
Okay.
Do you have thunder in the background?
Uh, that might be a plane flying by, but
Oh,
no.
airplane flying by. All right. Okay, we're gonna play the theme song, and then we're gonna jump to the podcast. I have no fucking idea what we're talking about tonight.
I don't either. There's not a ton going on, I guess.
I have emails
Let me see
again.
the
I
news.
pulled emails again.
Okay. let's just do emails then. Or we can talk about Mass Effect and then do emails. Let's do
Okay,
that.
we can do that. We can talk about Dragon Age 2. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. If you have an update on Dragon Age.
I do. I stopped playing it.
Okay, I have more to say about that. So let's go live.
Okay. We are live, but now theme song's gonna play, so don't say anything. Because you can't hear it, but everybody else can. Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 216 of the Game and Death podcast. I'm your host, Chris, and with me tonight we have Caleb.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
What's going on, Caleb? How are you this evening?
I'm doing okay. You know, work, video games, hip hop, usually in that order.
Work, and then and then I just start making really funny sounding noises with my mouth that sound like work.
Why are you doing that? Why would you do such a thing? Is that your hip hop?
Well, that's the song by the Umbrella Lady. What's her? Rihanna. Benihana.
Well, I don't really care about Rihanna other than that Chris Brown is a huge douche. But I guess I can get down with that
Dude,
that song, I guess.
He was just trying to dance. Don't blame the guy for trying to dance.
Have you actually seen like the police report from what happened though?
I saw the pictures of her face afterwards.
Yeah, he like beat her within an inch of her life. It's actually super fucked up.
Oh yeah, well that's because Chris Brown is the scum. He's like Michael Vick. Like Michael Vick is like just a little bit more of a dick than Chris Brown.
Michael Vick was the he was the dogfighting guy, right?
Yeah, and
That's so fucked up.
Just goes to show you that I like animals more than I like people.
It's cool. I can get down with that.
Yes, John, no Hollow Blade this evening. He hard passed tonight, but he'll be back. I hope.
Yeah, he just needs some time to relax.
Yeah, I hope so. So what have you been... okay. I'm not even going to ask you what you've been up to, because I know what you've been up to. And I always ask every week what you've been up to.
Yeah.
Like, close to 200 episodes now, I've been asking you what you've been up to. But I know what you've been up to. I know what you've been playing.
You do, because you can see it on my PSN, or because
we talk about it.
That too, yeah.
That's why. So, Caleb, you picked up Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah, I grabbed Mass Effect Andromeda because it was on sale, like it is half the time these days. Honestly, I feel like every other day it's on some kind of sale. And I picked it up because I wanted to, it was like half off. Wanted to give it a try. I wanted to see if it was really as bad as everyone said it was. And they've made quite a few updates in the past few months, from what I've heard.
Yes, they have. I went back with the newest update. I went back to look to see what the game looked like these days.
Okay, how does it look in comparison?
It looks like a AAA game, Mass Effect game, whereas before it kind of looked... I don't want to say stilted, but kind of like you could really tell that they were like wired frame people moving. Like the animations were really wonky and the faces were really funny looking, and
See, it's
Much better
super.
now.
It's super funny to hear you say that because, like, admittedly, I don't have any experience with it other than like after all these patches, but I still feel like that's kind of there. Although maybe it's not as bad as it was
Oh
earlier.
no, it is leaps and bounds better than it was.
Okay, well that's good. Because I picked up this game and I popped it in and I played it for about 10 hours and I was very confused because what I found was a very good game. A game with some jank still, but like a good game, and it has like far less glitches than like Skyrim or Fallout 4 when they launched. So I was really surprised at why people hated it so much. Because I'm having a lot of fun with it, but I guess the updates themselves have made it a substantially better game. Is that what you're telling me?
It
Basically,
makes okay. No. It's not a substantially better game. It runs smoother, and it
okay,
looks better.
okay,
It's because they didn't really change anything about the gameplay or the game really like the mechanics themselves. What they changed were animations and textures and the way things looked.
okay. Okay, because the interesting thing is, I've actually still seen quite a few bugs, but they're not anything bad. They're just like little weird things here and there with characters, like audio not syncing up, people's lips moving when they're not talking, random things like that. Uh, I actually saw, I think I saw the funniest glitch I've ever seen in a game, and it made me like laugh so hard I was crying. Where I tried to talk to a guy and it went into the conversation mode that you go into where
Yep.
like yeah I tried to talk to him when it was like I guess he turned away at the exact second I press X because he turned away when we started talking, and then as we started talking his character model walked away. So I was just talking to myself staring at nothing, and apparently a conversation was happening, but nothing game breaking, nothing like save ruining. So I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. Now, do you think you're noticing these visual glitches more because you're looking for them?
Um, See, that's a hard question. I really don't know. I don't know if I'm necessarily like looking for them so much as they're like some of them are pretty obvious. Like it zooms up on my character's face and then his lips start moving for no reason. Um, I think it's that they are there, but like the ones that are there aren't. They're very obvious, but they're not like horrible. They're just like, oh, that's kind of weird.
Okay.
But it's nothing super crazy.
Okay.
Like
Besides the visual aspect of the game,
yeah.
yes or no, is this Star Trek the video game?
This is literally Star Trek the video game, and well, so that's another thing that was really confusing to me, was that people not just hated on like the wonkiness of the framing and the animations and stuff, but people seemed to genuinely dislike the gameplay and the story, which is a totally different thing in my mind. And I guess some people still hate the story, which is weird because I actually think it's really good and it's really fitting. It's a very different type of game than Mass Effect 1 through 3 were ever trying to be. It's very much its own thing, but it's kind of fun that it takes place in the Mass Effect universe. What were your thoughts on the story and like just the overall campaign of the game?
I really like the fact that there isn't like I'm not some chosen one. I'm not there's no like sense of urgency, and it's like just kind of like, hey, we are here in Andromeda, some shit went down, and now go do this stuff to help us out and rebuild our space station. And less about like, hey, you have to do this or everybody's going to die. That comes later in the game, but
I'm sure it will come at some point because it's Bioware game. It has to.
but I mean, like, for the first like 20 to 30 hours, it's very much like until you find out, like, start finding out about the big baddie and you start decoding technology and stuff. It's very like, hey, our mission is to explore and find out what the fuck's going on here.
Yeah, no, I actually thought it was great that I showed up at like the hub for the first time, which is called the Nexus in this one. And the whole story was basically people are being dicks to each other and they can't get anything done, so they're like, "Hey, can you go do explorer stuff?" And your character just kind of shrugs and is like, well, "Okay." And then you do, and you settle colonies, and it's actually pretty sweet. There's not a lot of hand-holding or like guidance story-wise, but it's pretty clear what you're supposed to do, and I think you're mostly just supposed to do whatever you want and just go make your own story in a different way than the other Mass Effect with like choices. It's more like do whatever you want in this universe, which is cool for a Bioware game. It's different.
See, Austin in the chat, who's a good friend of the show, he said that he was really disappointed with the game. And my question is always when people are like, "Oh, I was really disappointed in the game," is why? Why were you so disappointed? Like, it's a different story, but you're still in the Mass Effect universe. Like, my biggest disappointment with that game is the fact that they only introduced one new race.
Is that the one that I've been fighting and killing so far? The one that's super super aggressive?
No. They're fish people. Okay, he didn't like the characters, the plot, and the plot was mediocre. Okay, understandable. It's not a game for everybody. It's like where we hate on The Last of Us, where it's like the story was really good, but everything else was really mediocre.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, and that's fine. But that's my biggest thing is like we are in a new galaxy that took light years, like. The Andromeda arc, which is the ship thing that you guys are on at the beginning of the game, left in between Mass Effect 2 and 3.
Yeah, so they don't know what happened during 3, which also happens to be like 700 years ago.
Exactly, that's the thing. It's like all that shit happened in the Milky Way, and they have no idea.
Well, so the end... I never finished Mass Effect 3. I never got around to actually playing it. That's a whole other story. But one of the big things at the end of it was that, like, there was this crazy galaxy-altering event, right?
Galaxy-altering event, yes.
Like, literally that momentous, and your character's... Okay, so... no,
not universe-altering.
Spoilers.
Just galaxy-altering.
Just galaxy-altering. That's what I
Correct.
thought. So, what I was going to say, without any spoilers, can you tell me... if that comes into play at all during this game?
No, it does not.
Okay. They just completely avoided that altogether, because that's fine. I'm fine with that. I don't really care. I'd really rather just do this thing.
Can you imagine how much... Okay, BioWare already got slack for the ending of Mass Effect 3. Do you understand how much slack they would get if they were like, oh yeah, by the way, this ending was canon?
I mean, I wasn't sure if they would do something like that, just because I hadn't heard anything about that during this game, but thought it might be like something really end game and spoilery. But I don't know. People hated this game enough already, so I don't know if it did them any favors. If it was something they specifically chose not to do.
And Mass Effect 1 through 3 are some of my is one of my all-time favorite all-time favorite series. I love the Mass Effect series.
Yeah.
And I will submit that Andromeda is not up to par with Mass Effect 1 through 3 in its storytelling at all.
That's fair.
But it is still it's like a 7. It's like a mediocre to good game. It's not like, oh my god, shit your pants, great game. It's not Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's not Horizon Zero Dawn. It's a good game to get you through a summer drought. A BioWare game that I've been playing that isn't good to get you through a summer drought because you'll fall asleep for it is Dragon Age Inquisition.
So we've been talking about Dragon Age Inquisition and you not liking Dragon Age Inquisition. What's going on?
Okay, I like Dragon Age Inquisition. I like Dragon Age Inquisition a lot. Okay. I like that game a lot. My problem is the pacing is terrible.
Well, it's a game where, like, you're doing all kinds of random shit, and somehow that's all supposed to, like, fold into itself through the plot, right?
The problem is, it's like, you have story missions, like, it's like a Mass Effect game, except it's fantasy, and so you have, like, story missions, and you have a shit ton of side stuff, but the story missions are like, hey, go here and talk to these people. Alright, now go here and talk to these people. Alright, now go here and talk to these people. I'm like 40 hours into this game, and I've yet to like be like, okay, let's do something awesome. Because the game starts out with a bang. Like, fucking town gets destroyed, you get arrested, now you gotta go close this rift, you go close the rift, and then you start forming the Inquisition, and it's like, hey, go talk to these people over here. Hey, go talk to these people over here. Hey, go talk to these people over here. And everybody was like, oh, you just got to leave the hinterlands and it picks up. And I left the hinterlands and it's like, all right, go talk to these people. All right, go talk to these people.
Sounds like you're having a good time.
I stopped playing. I will be honest. I haven't touched the game in like a week because it's just kind of like one of those things where I'm like, all right, this sounds like something awesome's going to happen. And you get there and it's just like a cutscene where this guy like disses you and you're like, really wanted to fight like a dragon or like more things. And I don't know if it's because I'm playing like a really badass archer build, but I end up like just destroying fucking everything. And it's like,
okay. Huh.
Like, the areas are really big, and it's really pretty. The game is really pretty. It looks like The Witcher. A little bit degraded, but it looks like The Witcher 3. And the areas are so big, but everything is so far apart.
Is it really? Like, so there's just not much, like, stuff going on
There's tons of stuff going on between. Like, I could fight dudes, and I'll come across things, and there's a bunch of collectibles to pick up, and all this other shit. But it's just like, when you're just like, okay, I'm done exploring, I'm going to do these missions, it's like, it literally takes you 15 minutes of real time to walk from where you get the mission to where the mission is, then you get another part of the mission, then walk another 15 minutes this way to complete or beat whatever you have to beat, and then a 20-minute walk back to the first person that gave you the quest. And it's like, I don't... and, like, you can fast travel, which is good, except the load times in the game are terrible. So, like, to fast travel, sometimes it's lightning speed, and you fast travel instantly, and there's no load screen. And sometimes you get a 5-minute loading screen. And you're like, the game freeze, and then loads. And then you're like, okay, the game didn't freeze. Just, I've certain problems that, like, I want to go back and play Mass Effect instead. Like, I have other games in my backlog that I'd like to finish. Like, that's my whole thing, is I'm trying to complete my backlog before, you know, fall hits and we get bombarded by a shit ton of awesome games again. But I don't know if Dragon Age Inquisition's going to make the cut.
Ooh. Harsh words for a summer backlog fest.
Like, I tried. And the worst part is, Dragon Age Origins, I love Dragon Age Origins to death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, here's the thing that I thought was interesting. Just a random snippet. So, Bioware has decided to not make an Andromeda 2 or to not make another Mass Effect for a while.
Did they really? Did they say that?
Yeah, it was said there somewhere, but apparently they're focusing on Anthem and Dragon Age 4. And that's going to be, you know, keeping them busy for the next couple of years or probably so. Let me try to find the actual words. Which, I don't know if that was something that was intended before Mass Effect got such a backlash, but that's supposedly the word on what's going on with BioWare. Are you looking it up right now?
No, I'm chatting.
Okay. Yeah, new Dragon Age game in developments. One of the writers said about a month ago.
Oh, cool.
Just no title or anything yet. But
I'm listening.
Okay. Yeah, but that was all I wanted to say. So, no Mass Effect for a while. Doesn't sound like a sequel to Andromeda. Well, I mean, I think they should get another shot. I'd say this game is at least like an 8. But I'm also jumping into it after everything is fixed. So, I don't know if that's changing how I perceive it. But I'm enjoying it a lot, like I said.
Now, let me ask you an honest question.
Yeah.
Are you going to play Anthem?
So, I don't know. I was kind of toying with the idea of playing Destiny 2, because Destiny 1 was cool, but a lot of stuff could have been done better. Like, way better. It was problematic, and we've talked about this before. So, I have more hopes for Anthem than I do for Destiny 2, But I'd still be pretty tempted by Destiny 2 if it was as good as we'd want it to be. What are your thoughts? Because they're getting a lot of comparisons because they look very similar. One's just like a 3D shooter action game made by Bioware, as opposed to Destiny.
I will probably not play Destiny 2.
But you will play Anthem.
I've played almost every BioWare game that's ever come out. I will.
Are you that big of a fan?
I love BioWare.
Okay.
So I will probably play Anthem. My thing is, I'm really worried, like, the guys behind Destiny are the guys that were originally behind Halo, right?
Yes.
Okay. I get them in Titanfall, which is the guys that used to make Call of Duty. Halo's never been known for its story.
Not really. Not since, like, the first game.
Like, Destiny's first game, the story was kind of terrible.
It was practically non-existent, and the lore you had to go online with those cards to actually read,
and
right?
Like, they touched it up a little bit, but I mean, like, Anthem is made by BioWare, who are known for, like, even Mass Effect Andromeda's kind of not great story is still better than anything Destiny had.
Oh yeah, no, Destiny is it's pretty far down there as far as bad stories.
Like, Super Mario Brothers 1 has a better story than Destiny.
Super Mario Brothers 1 had a very clear and understandable story, actually.
So
compared to Destiny.
So to compare the two, I like a good story and good visuals and good mechanics, and I love BioWare's mechanics. And I know BioWare is going to make good story, and Anthem is a third-person game, and that makes me happy. So
basically, we shouldn't get Destiny. We should play Anthem. Is that what you're going to try to tell me?
Isn't Anthem out for like another year?
I think it's early 2018, like everything else that was shown at the PlayStation conference.
Okay, so early 2018.
Yeah, which means we still can play Destiny. Not that we have to play Destiny, but it is an option.
Austin brings up a thing. He said that his biggest concern with Anthem is that it's only going to be enjoyable when playing with friends, and he said Division had that issue for him. I had the same problem with the Division. I loved playing the Division with my friends. I bought it both on PS4 and Xbox One so that I could play with Yogi and the guys from the gang, and I bought it on PS4 because I thought you fuckers were going to pick it up, and nobody on our podcast picked it up. But I had a lot of fun with, like, certain people that I'd party up with and play the Division with. I thought it had great mechanics and stuff like that. Anthem, on the other hand, I think is going to play okay without people.
Okay. Yeah, no, looking at it, I mean, it still looks fun. Instead of giving you, like, a shitty space loading screen that takes forever, they just gave you a jetpack and let you do whatever you want. Which seems like it would be a lot more fun on your own than Division or Destiny.
Right, and my thing is, like, the Division, the story wasn't great.
That's what I heard.
We're going back to story, and I think, like, with BioWare and Anthem, I think the story's going to be really good. I really do. I have faith in BioWare.
Yeah, I think if they were going to try to I feel like if they were going to try to go a route similar to Destiny, that they would at least make sure their story is locked down before anything.
Now, are you going to... Do you think there's going to be a competitive multiplayer mode in Anthem? Like a TDM or a Capture the Flag or a Hardpoint or...
I actually don't know. I would assumed they would throw something in just because, even if it was like a pretty general, like, team deathmatch or something. But I mean, how? This is a funny question. As I'm playing Mass Effect right now, how is the multiplayer in Bioware games? Chris? Because I've never actually touched it, so I don't know.
What Mass Effect 2 had was the first one with multiplayer?
And
Was
then
that 3?
three and Andromeda. Well, I think it was 2, but 3 and Andromeda, I'm pretty sure both have it.
Well, I think 3's the one that I played the most.
And was it pretty decent?
It's Mass Effect gameplay. You're playing Mass Effect against other players. It's like, okay, it's Mass Effect gameplay, except now it's team deathmatch, and it was because it's EA. It was very pay to win when you were playing competitive. The Horde mode, on the other hand, was amazing.
Okay.
Like, that's something that I love in a lot of those games, is being able to play Horde mode with people, because I like the zombies in Call of Duty, or the Horde in Gears, and the Horde mode in Mass Effect 3 was amazing. And I think if they did that's what Andromeda seems like it's going to be, but whenever you want. Like, okay, go adventure with your friends.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see it being like a game built around a lot of that.
So,
I was also getting like a State of Decay kind of vibe, in that you might just be able to turn against each other you find in the game, but I really don't know.
I hope not.
I would prefer not. That would make the game not as fun, but anyway.
I'm a dick, but I'm I'm not a dick. I'm an asshole, but I'm a lovable asshole. And I'm the guy that's always like, yeah, we'll fight to the end, and then I'll blow my friends away if I can and take all their shit. That's me. That's what I do. I know that. My friends who play games with me know that's how I am. When we were playing The Division, that I'd drop out of the party and I'd kill everybody, like, while we were waiting for the helicopter to show up to extract our shit from the decontamination zone. I'm an asshole. And
You're getting me super hyped for Anthem.
Well, it's the thing. See, I say it out loud now, and then I won't do it. But I usually am that asshole, and that's what scares me, is, like, I troll people. I used to troll people when there was nobody else on The Division. I would just go to the dark zone and just blow people away with a sniper rifle at a location they couldn't get to.
Literally just to be
a dick.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is harsh.
Yeah, so I don't like this whole, like, anomalous competitiveness that a lot of games have been bringing in lately. Like, notably, The Division.
I feel like Rust was the first really big one to do that.
So.
And some people just kind of took the concept and ran with it.
I like Rust, though.
Have you played Rust? I feel like we might have talked about this at some point.
I used to play a lot of Rust.
Were you the one who was killing everybody? You were, weren't you, you fucker?
Actually, I'm not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wasn't a troll in Rust. I'd help people. I built a lot of things. I built a lot of traps for raiders. That was my big thing. Was building traps that people would be like, "Oh, I'm gonna get in here," and they'd get in and try to steal shit, and then they couldn't get out, and then I just killed them.
It's actually
that was my thing. I was an anti-troll.
That's cool. That's cool.
Like, right now, what the hell's the new game that I've been playing?
Not Dragon Age.
Not Dragon Age. It's a PC game. It's coming to consoles and PS4. PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds.
Oh, that's what everybody's talking about, but at the same time... Oh, that's what everybody's playing. At the same time, I haven't heard a lot about it. I just know it's really popular.
It is the Hunger Games.
Is it really?
It is the Hunger Games.
In video game form?
In video
game
form.
Guns?
With guns, yes. It basically, you airdrop into this small town, you find this area, you start looting shit, you find guns and stuff, and then you just kill everybody else. And you try to be the last person standing. And the battlefield gets smaller and smaller as more and more people die. And if you're outside the zone, you take a bunch of damage. And there's cars and motorcycles, and it's just a fun game. And you get armor, and it's a really, really good game. And there's multiplayer where you can have, like, a squad, so it's your squad versus, like, a bunch of other people's squads. and you try to like kill the other squad, and you be the last squad standing. I like that a
So
little bit better. It's a great game.
okay. I guess it's a cool concept, but it plays a lot like Battlefield or some of those games, right?
It plays more like World War Z.
Okay.
It does not play like Battlefield at all. Like Battlefield's a first person.
Oh, wait, this is third person?
Yes.
Oh,
Come on.
okay. I don't know. Like I see stuff getting posted all over the place about it, like videos and pictures and stuff. But I hadn't like read many articles about it or anything. Like I didn't really know what it was.
Watch some YouTube videos of it. That's how I got into it. That's how I get into a lot of like the weird PC games that people are talking about that are still in early access.
I saw gifs and stuff of people doing crazy shit and getting crazy kills, but that was about it.
Yeah, I definitely recommend like if you're not quite sure what it's about or how it plays or anything, just watch some YouTube videos about it. And you'll be like, oh, maybe I'll try this because it's decent, and it's coming to PS4 and Xbox One.
When is it dropping for PS4 and Xbox One?
That I do not know, but let me look it up.
And when it does, will it still technically be early access? I feel like that's an important question.
I don't think that it'll be in early access at that point.
Or out of early. Okay. Just curious.
Definitely coming to Xbox One, PS4. They're not possible about.
Thanks, Sony. Doing good.
Right now, they're saying possibly Q4 2017.
Okay.
So the end of this year.
Okay, so Xbox One players should check this out, I guess, and PS4 players should check it out eventually. Basically.
Besides that, I also picked up. Have you heard of the game Path of Exile?
Yes. That sounds very familiar.
It's Diablo 2 without the Diablo 2 name, pretty much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's free to play.
Top-down, click-based.
Top-down, click-based. A lot more to do than Diablo 3. A lot more. Basically, it's the way you get abilities is the materia system from Final Fantasy VII.
Okay.
And then when you level up, it's the sphere grid from Final Fantasy X.
Okay.
So you can customize your character however the hell you want. And like every class has like a starting area on the sphere grid, but you can be like, I'm a ranger, and now I'm going to start speccing into warrior.
Okay, so you can mix stuff up kind of crazy and create super unique.
Super unique characters that are just balls to the wall bonkers crazy. And the loot doesn't explode as much as it does in Diablo. Like, the pickups are fewer and far between, and they matter, like, they matter more.
Okay, it's not just blowing out all over the place like Diablo 2. Or Diablo 3, I should say.
It doesn't blow out everywhere like Diablo 3. Like, you'll kill a unique enemy, and they'll drop maybe 4 things, and of those 4 things, one thing might be good.
One thing might be good. Okay.
Right. So it's
okay.
like, so when you do find a piece of equipment that's an upgrade, you hold on to it, and you'll probably be wearing it for like 10 to 15 levels.
Oh. That's way different. I mean, what level are you usually by the end of the game?
I don't know. I just hit level 22, and I just hit chapter 2.
Oh, okay. So it might be pretty long, and there might be lots of levels.
I think max level is 99.
Okay.
It's either 99 or 80. But it's a really good game, and it's kind of old, but it's free to play on Steam. So I think everybody should definitely give that a look-see.
Yeah, there's actually, I think, a few indie games coming out right now that is supposed to be good.
That's not an indie game.
Well, that's not an indie game, necessarily. Wait, who made Path of Exile?
Who did make Path of Exile? Let me look that up. But talk about indie games.
There was a Cyberpunk game that came out recently on PS4, and I want to say it was a Ubisoft indie game, actually. Let me try to pick it up to pull it up. It came out last week, and people were talking about it because it was like really good and had really interesting atmosphere, but the story was garbage. So
It's Grinding Gear Games, by the way.
Grind and Gear Games.
Grinding Gear Games. They're from they're a New Zealand developer and publisher.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, good old Kiwis. Let me look up some of the releases actually to see what. Well, here, yeah. Let me just pull up some releases recently. You got some questions, right?
I don't have them yet, but pull up some stuff.
Okay, let me do that. Recent game releases. Sub-Zero just dropped for Injustice 2, I think, or is about to.
He's out. He's the least interesting of the Injustice characters.
Well, I mean, Mortal Kombat characters are cool in the Mortal Kombat universe. As soon as you go to DC, people are flying all over the place and shooting fireballs, and I can see him being not as fun.
I don't understand why he wasn't just a skin for Captain Cold.
That would have made way too much sense.
Like, why take a character slot up for somebody who... You already have somebody who does a lot of the same stuff.
He's literally just a cold guy. You have two cold guys.
Oh.
So Casey Hudson is actually coming back to Bioware. He was one of the major writers for the Mass Effect series, and it was a big deal when he left a couple years ago. But he's coming back. And at the same time, Aaron Flynn, who's the GM, is actually leaving. I don't know much about these guys other than... I know Casey Hudson because I know his name from Mass Effect, and I know he wrote most of it. He's a great writer. So, I mean, we'll see what he can add. Small little piece of news. Small little piece of news. No little things going on here and there. Nothing amazing this week.
Hey, here's a piece of news that Austin just dropped in the chat. The Nintendo Switch Online app released as of 10 minutes ago.
Okay. Has it crashed yet with people jumping on it? Oh, that's... Well, I don't think enough people have Switch.
It literally launched 10 minutes ago. I have no other information except for Austin posted in the chat, Nintendo Switch Online app released as of 10 minutes ago. And my response is, if I could find a Switch, I'd own one.
You know, I was looking at it just to see... I was looking at it on Amazon just to see when they would get the next one in, because I'm going to have enough money soon, and I'm wondering if I should throw down. And I saw it on Amazon, and it was like, only 16 left in stock, order now. And I was like, oh, awesome. Maybe I can actually just throw down money right now and pay it off in the future, because I might as well grab it. And then I actually clicked into the Switch page, and it said that there will be 16 left in stock when it comes back in stock on the 25th. But those 16 are soon to be bought. So I guess, 2 weeks notice is the best you can do for a Switch still right now. Just for anyone who's curious.
See, mine tells me it's $404, and it will be in stock on July 22nd.
Yeah, I think that was the one I saw. July 22nd? That's better. That's Saturday?
It is $404.
Yeah, it's $404.
It retails for $299.
Yeah, so if I wanted to get that and Breath of the Wild, I'd be looking at a lot of missing money.
You can buy the red and the neon and blue one right now. Only 9 left in stock, $418.40. My thing is, it is not worth paying $400 for a $300 system.
That's fair, and that was one of the reasons why I didn't end up throwing down money on it. Has anyone actually? Do we know anyone who's actually gotten it at who actually has it and didn't pay $400 for it? Because this is a mess.
Austin just tried to post a link into our chat that said, you sign up on the site, use this website, you can get it to send you an email anytime a Switch goes on sale. And he said that's how he got his sister a Switch 2 weeks ago.
And did he get it for the $300?
I believe so.
I guess we'll wait because of awkward Switch. But anyway, Titanfall 2's next free update drops in a week, and it's going to include a horde mode specifically, actually, as we were just talking about.
He said, yeah, for $2.99.
Nice. Okay, I'll have to check that out later. But yeah, Titanfall 2 is getting a horde mode for people who still are playing it. I feel bad about getting really into it for like a week and then not playing it since then, because it is a really fun game, and it deserves more attention than it's gotten, I think. But we're probably going to jump back into that when the horde mode drops, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, good. But do you have the questions?
I do have questions. I do have questions ready whenever you're ready.
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right, George wants to know, favorite board game?
Favorite board game? I'm going to say Level 7 Omega Protocol.
Okay.
You ever play that game?
I don't know if I've played that one. I've heard of it.
It's fun. It's basically like it's basically XCOM, but one person is playing the dungeon master, and it's like played on a board with cards. But you get to choose your loadout and everything like right before the match, which is the actual battle. Okay. And rounds last from like an hour to 2 hours, depending on how intense it gets and like how tricky it gets. But it's super fun.
I love me Ticket to Ride. It's probably my favorite board game.
That's I've heard a lot about that one. I think most people have played it at this point, right?
Yeah, I like that, and I also really like Michikoro.
I don't know what that is.
Michikoro is like a 2-player card game that involves a lot of strategy, where you're trying to win the favor of 5 geishas, and you do it by placing their favors on the board, but you only get 4 actions a turn, and those 4 actions are set in stone. So like one of the actions is play a card, and you can only play a card. And there's one action where like you play 2, but your opponent gets to play 1. And there's one where it's like switch a card with your opponent. And it's really takes a lot of thinking and a lot of strategy, and it's one of my favorite. It's kind of new too. I bought it off of Card Kingdom, I think it was Card Kingdom, for like super cheap.
You're a pretty big board game guy, right?
I used to, before I had therapy every Wednesday. I went to board game night every Wednesday.
Oh, nice.
So I play a lot of like, not like most people think Monopoly, Clue, Sorry, Chutes and Ladders, Candyland. And
no,
I play a lot of stuff like Pandemic.
Pandemic's pretty fun. I have played Pandemic.
I like the dice rolling version of the game a lot better than the full version of Pandemic.
I think I've only played the dice rolling version. I didn't know there was a different one.
There's a quick version, which is like you get a lot more dice, and then there's the long version where there's multiple other characters with multiple different powers, and it literally takes like 8 hours to play. Whereas the dice rolling's like 2 or 3 hours long.
Yeah, I definitely played the 2 or 3 hour long one.
And if we're going classic board games, though, Risk is my jam.
Have you ever finished a game of Risk?
I wonder finished multiple games of Risks.
How long was the longest game of Risk you played?
We used to play it in study hall, a single game, and we'd put the board on top of the vending machines at the end of the day, at the end of the study hall class, and that lasted us, I think it was three semesters in high school. Playing for 45 minutes, playing 40 almost every day, playing 45 minutes a day.
Was that just one game?
That was one game.
That was. Yep, I guess it's good if you have a scenario like that where you can just come back to it every so often.
Right, and my thing is I like games. I like strategy games, and I also like games where you kind of have to be devious and deceive people. I really like games like that. There's this new game that we've been playing down at the store, Hong Kong Murder or something like that, where one person's the killer and he picks out 2 items on the in front of him, and nobody knows who the killer is, and then you try to guess like who the killer is, and you have to get both items that he picked out that he used, and one guy is the investigator giving clues, who's the only person that knows who the killer is, trying to get everybody else to guess this person and the two items. It's a ton of fun. Love board games. Love board games so much.
Nice.
And I don't consider D&D a board game, or I would have said that.
I would not either, actually. But cool. What do we got next?
Did you see Spider-Man: Homecoming? Because I haven't yet.
I have not actually. I've heard good things about it, like really good things. I've heard people say it's the best one, but haven't seen it myself yet.
I'm kind of nervous about Homecoming, just slightly. Like,
you're kind of nervous about it, about whether or not it'll live up to the hype.
Not that I'm worried that it's going to suffer from the Marvel problem. Like, Marvel makes really dreary kind of like, there's no ever like a super happy ending at the end of a Marvel movie. And Spider-Man, like Peter Parker and Spider-Man is very upbeat and kind of off the cuff and comedic, and it's more of a lighthearted story with dark moments rather than a dark story with lighthearted moments peppered in. And from everything I've seen and heard people talk about is it does suffer from the Marvel. It's kind of dreary, but there's cool kind of comedic areas peppered in, and that worries me a little bit as a huge fan of the Spider-Man comics.
So it's you're worried because it's basically like a copy paste of all the other Marvel movies so far,
except for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Except Guardians of the Galaxy. Still haven't seen the second one. Have you seen the second one?
I forgot that you can't see me. I'm shaking my head. No. No, I have not seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
That's something else I've been meaning to see as well, actually, but have not. But looking forward to it.
Let's see. Scott wants to know, what did we think of the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer that was shown at D23?
What did you think of the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer, Chris? I don't think I've seen it, actually.
I think that the Toy Story world looks really cool.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that.
I like that they've turned Sora into an action figure when he goes there.
That's awesome.
I was more excited about the Wreck-It Ralph 2 announcements than I was about the Kingdom Hearts 3 stuff. Like, we got a release year, maybe.
We got it for the new Wreck-It Ralph?
No, for Kingdom Hearts 3.
Okay. That's something.
But I'm a huge Disney fan, so I was more interested, and I loved Wreck-It Ralph 1, so I was more excited for Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Yeah.
The news out of that, where it's like, oh, the Disney princesses, and there's Marvel stuff, and there's Star Wars stuff.
And there's Star Wars stuff.
And video game stuff. Like, it is like Geek the Movie.
Yeah.
And they gave some story elements about Wreck-It Ralph 2, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's how they're going to do it. All right, cool.
Okay. Well, now I probably got to look this up.
So, but you should definitely watch the Kingdom Hearts trailer. By the way, the Japanese voice actor for Woody will throw you off.
Is it like really deep and manly?
It's just like, I was watching it muted, and then I was like, oh, it's Woody. Let me hear if they got Tom Hanks to do the voice. Click, and he's like, Ushibashi no shine. And I was like, I hope that means there's a snake in my boot.
Totally means there's a snake in my boot.
Oh, Austin said Wonder Woman was incredible. Really want to see it again. I did not get to see Wonder Woman either.
You didn't get to see Wonder Woman?
My anxiety's been so high in public places lately that I just have not been able to pull myself up to go to the movies and sit around a bunch of people I don't know for 2.5, 3 hours.
That's one of the reasons why I have not seen Homecoming or Guardians of the Galaxy. Not that my anxiety's been high, but more that a lot of my friends recently moved to the other side of the city, which takes a while to get to. So I don't see them as much anymore. And I don't go to the movies very much, but still do plan on seeing those at some point soon.
So, Let's see, who's this? This is from Justin. Justin said, "What's a game that everybody else has been able to get into, but for some reason you haven't been able to, for some reason or another?"
Mm, I have actually. It's while we're talking about Bioware today. I guess I'll come clean. I mean, I mentioned this I think on a couple podcasts ago, but I was
If
not
you
the biggest
say
fan.
KOTOR, you were kicked off of this podcast. You realize that?
No, Koto's great. I was actually going to say Dragon Age Origins.
Okay, that's fine.
Like I thought it was, I thought it was boring. It wasn't like, I don't know. The world wasn't really like as engaging as a lot of the other ones I felt like I'd played before, like other Bioware games. So it just didn't really grab me, and I didn't really care about what was going on, even though it was supposed to be really dramatic. And I don't know, it just felt bland. So other people really like it. I'm curious to try Inquisition at some point because apparently it's very different, even if you don't like it. But that's kind of where I am with the series, and I never even touched too.
For me, it's like I've played them. I've played most of them all the way through, but I don't get like hype or into them as it seems like a lot of other people do, and that is pretty much any of Sony's first party series.
Oh,
Like everybody
like which
loses
ones?
everybody loses their shit for Uncharted, and I'm like, it's a game. And
I mean,
everybody loses their shit for like what the fuck was Sly Cooper when it was a thing, and Spyro, and I've never been able to get into Killzone, Resistance.
uh,
Like
yeah,
like the only Sony like exclusive that I could ever really get into was Infamous.
I knew you were gonna say Infamous. Yeah,
Like I've been a gamer since I was 3 years old, so 1989. Okay, and I've had every Sony console and pretty much every console that has come out between then and now.
hmm,
And my biggest thing was I had not touched a Ratchet and Clank game until the remake on PS4.
yeah. You mentioned that.
I didn't touch Jack and Daxter until the HD re-release on the Vita.
Okay.
Like, I played PlayStation All Stars and was like, "Hey, this game's really fun," but I have no idea who most of these characters are.
I don't. I don't think. I don't think the the battle game you just mentioned. I already forgot it. I don't think that's really a necessary game to have played, though.
But see, that's the thing. I really, really liked PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale. I really liked that game. I liked that game a lot.
Oh, all right.
But
You just didn't know the characters.
I had no idea who. Like, I don't know who Fat Princess is. Okay, I know that's Jack, and I know that's Daxter, and I know that's Ratchet, and I know that's Clank. But I don't know if they're good things. I had to look up what the fuck Ape Escape was.
See, so it's funny that you mention that because I feel like I'm in the same boat for a lot of those games, honestly. Um, and I don't feel like your hate of them is unjustified, actually. Honestly,
I don't
I
have
feel
a
like
hate. I don't have a hate of
well, not a
them.
hate,
I
but
just
like your
haven't been able to get
criticism.
into them.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, Resistance seems like a good game. It seems like a game. I feel like anyone who gave it more praise than that, I don't know. Killzone is a series near and dear to my heart, but I will even admit that they are not the best games.
Is Killzone the one
Uh,
with the aliens?
Killzone is the one with the Hellgast.
Are they
The
aliens? Are they the weird aliens
no,
that came to Earth during World War II or some shit like that?
no. Well, so that's the crazy thing about Killzone is that it has a really interesting
Oh no, that's
universe,
Resistant.
and
I'm thinking of. Okay, never
that
mind.
is Resistance. Yeah, it has a really interesting universe and lore. It's just never executed very well, except in like Killzone 2, and I never played 3, but I heard good things about it. Horizon Zero Dawn is the first like really solid game that Guerrilla has made. Like I love 2, but Horizon Zero Dawn is better than that. Um, No, Killzone is the one where you're fighting against the guys who are actually humans that were
Okay.
outcast to another planet, and they evolved to be stronger and faster, and now they're coming after you. And they
Austin
have
just broke it down for me very well, and I'm able now. I can separate the Resistance has aliens, Killzone has space Nazis. Got it. Now I know.
That's the joke. The joke is that they're basically space Nazis because they have red eyes in the glowing masks, and they're very imposing in like these huge, bulky black, like army fatigues.
Like the biggest I really like the story for The Last of Us, so I'm really excited for The Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
Just because that's more story, and that story is just so damn good that I'm really excited. Like, the game could be poo-poo, and I'd be, like, all over it.
I'll probably still give it a try. I almost bought the DLC story the other day just to try it. But I think you mentioned it wasn't amazing, right?
I liked it a lot.
Okay.
Because it does exactly what I want in that kind of game where the combat is few and far between.
Okay.
And it's a lot of story and a lot of character development and getting to know Ellie before her time with Joel.
Okay.
So I really like the DLC. No One Left Behind, I think it is.
I think it's just Left Behind.
Or Left Behind? Okay.
Last of Us Left Behind, yeah.
All right, next question. Austin in the chat wants to know, he says, maybe you've answered this before. Been a while since I've listened, since I've been quite busy. But what games are you most looking forward to this fall?
Let's pull up the list again, honestly. Because I remember being kind of bummed about the Sony conference, but now that I've actually seen all the games we will be playing, I am excited. I'm just bummed that they're not like anything Sony specific or Sony unique. But there's some good stuff coming out. Starting in August, I think.
The two that jump out to me are... Oh my god. The game made by the Resident Evil guy.
Evil Within 2.
Evil Within 2. And Mario Odyssey are like the two biggest games I'm looking forward to.
I would say Mario Odyssey as well. Evil Within 2 I am excited for. And if it's like, I mean, if they can fix what a lot of the first one did, it might be what a lot of the problems the first one had, it might be one of my favorite games of the year. But we'll see. Excited for Super Mario Odyssey and let me see, and Assassin's Creed Origins, I think.
I think Origins is going to be really good, but I'm not like sitting here like, ooh, can't wait. Like, Evil Within 2, I'm like, I'm ready. That's the kind of game I want to be playing right now. Let's go. Let's do this. I'm ready.
This is kind of how I am with Assassin's Creeds, though. Like, I'm not super excited about it yet, but I know as soon as I pop it in and I get into it, I'm going to be sitting there the whole weekend. Because that's what happened with Syndicate.
The other one that I'm really excited for is the new Middle-earth Shadow of War.
I saw that, and would you call that your runner-up?
That's probably my two most anticipated games I named, but my runner-up is definitely Lord of the Rings, or whatever the fuck it's called. Middle-earth Shadow of War.
Yeah. I'm interested to try that game, but if I have to choose a runner-up, I'm going to say Wolfenstein 2.
Yeah.
Just to see what they do, because the first one was so much fun. I just really would love more Wolfenstein.
Like, here's my biggest thing is, like, there's no like big surprise game that's really coming out this year that we know of. Like, there's games that could be really good, but a lot of the stuff that everybody's really excited for is either a sequel, a remake, that kind of stuff. Like, I'm excited for Metroid Samus Returns on the 3DS. That's in September. Like, that I have pre-ordered. The Evil Within 2. Assassin's Creed. South Park, The Fractured But Whole. Is that even still coming this year?
That's October 17th.
Is it coming this year? I paid for that game 2 years ago.
That's right. And you can't get your money back.
And I can't get my money back. Like, Wolfenstein looks really good, but I didn't love the first one.
October 17th. Yeah, it's confirmed.
Most
coming out.
anticipated game is the oldest game that's probably on this list, by the way. That hasn't been released yet. Cuphead.
Kingdom Hearts 3?
Cuphead.
Yeah.
I am so ready to fucking play Cuphead.
Which apparently is now fully Xbox exclusive.
Yes.
Indefinitely, they've said.
Correct.
Which I guess that could change in a year or two, but it sounds like it might not.
Correct.
Which it fucks with me really bad because I really want to play Cuphead, but I'd probably rather just get a Switch.
Austin said Danganronpa V3 is also on the list for him. He also said Wolfenstein 2 or
Hear
Mario.
a lot of people talking about this.
What?
A lot of people talking about. I heard a lot of people talking about the Danganronpa series. It's really
ever been able to get into it. Ever.
It's basically like isn't it basically like Zero Time Dilemma meets Persona?
I don't know. I've never touched it.
Oh really?
No.
The series?
Never touched the Danganronpa series. It's from what if I remember correctly, when I used to listen to Podcast Beyond with Colin Moriarty, it sounds like a 1,000,000-hour JRPG.
Yeah, it sounds like it's very. So it's the first two games are very much. Well, they're like visual novels, where you're like a kid stuck in a school with like 15 other kids who are other characters, and shit goes down because for some reason you're trapped in there for reasons that aren't entirely clear but are super evil. But yeah, like Zero Time Dilemma, it's a story that plays out where you have to make decisions and what you do affects who lives and dies and all that kind of stuff, and whether you live or die and all that.
Austin says it's more Ace Attorney meets Persona. They're amazing games, and they're about 30 hours each.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's not bad.
No. But yeah, heard a lot of people talking about that, getting hyped for the third one coming out this year.
All right, we got like 2 more questions, and then we're going to get out of here. Jeremy wants to know, in honor of FF12, and he the whole fucking Zodiac, whatever, what's your favorite Final Fantasy game, and why?
Speaking of which, I don't know when I'm going to pick it up, but I am excited to play FF12. It's been about 10 years. I can give it another shot and see if I actually like it better this time around.
Not wasting my money on a game I know I don't like.
It looks way better than it did, at least. And
I don't care.
It looks
The
like
gameplay is still Final Fantasy 12 gameplay, and the gameplay in Final Fantasy 12 is terrible.
Well, we'll see if I can get past it this time, but the world is really cool. They just didn't do as good a job with it. But anyway.
John says his favorite Final Fantasy is 13 due to lightning.
You know, you're a straight shooter. I can't fault
15
you
is
for that.
actually his favorite.
Okay. I'm still gonna say Final Fantasy 9.
9. Why?
9 is so it's the first Final Fantasy I played, which is always a big deal for people. And the fact that it was basically just Final Fantasy 1 through 4, but on a PlayStation with decent graphics, was a huge deal for me as like a kid who was reading a lot of fantasy novels and had never really played a game like that. That was like my second RPG ever, I want to say, and just loved him ever since, and loved the Final Fantasy series ever since.
Austin says odd answer, but 14 is his favorite. He absolutely loved that game. For me, my favorite Final Fantasy game is Final Fantasy VI. I think that it set the groundwork for every Final Fantasy that came after it. It is very much a game that still holds up today, whereas like you try to go back and play 7 and the graphics are just bleh. 6 uses the sprites, and the sprites still look really good. It played on the SNES. It has one of the best bad guys, so much better than like anybody else in any of the other Final Fantasy games, because Kefka actually blows up the earth.
Yeah. Oh, Kefka.
It has a ton of really strong characters. It's just a fucking amazing game. And everybody's like, oh, well, you know, everybody likes Final Fantasy 6 or Final Fantasy 7. And it's like, yeah, because they're good games. My problem is I can't pick 7 because 7 is Final Fantasy 6 with pretty graphics. So I can't pick 7. Same story. Can't pick 7. But close behind 6 is definitely 10. because 10 is an amazing game. So that's me.
Yeah. No, 10's a fantastic game. I mean, 9 was what brought me to the series, and then 10 was what really, really made me love it.
4 brought me to the series.
4 is an awesome game, too. I played the Game Boy Advance remake of that, which was basically just the same thing, just looks slightly nicer. And that game's awesome. What else?
That was, but my thing with 4 is I remember playing that game back in the day and not being able to get past the Mist thing at the very beginning. I think it's a Mist Unicorn or Mist Dragon.
Mist Dragon sounds familiar. That sounds about right.
And because of that, I had the hardest time, like, actually being able to get much further in the game. And then with 6, I was a little bit older, and so I'm looking for another one. Looking for another question.
Okay.
So fill time.
So Final Fantasy series is pretty sweet. A lot of interesting DLC getting dropped for Final Fantasy 15. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I still need to go back and play Final Fantasy 15. Anything?
Worst game we've ever played.
Worst game we've ever played.
Worst game we've ever played.
I feel like we might have gotten that before, but oh, you know what? I played E3 over the week, or I played ET over the weekend for Atari.
Game's not as bad as most people think.
It's not, but it is strange and confusing, and I can see why people would not like that. But it's not terrible. No, I think the worst game I've ever played would probably be, what was that game you made me buy?
Damnation.
Yeah.
I didn't make you buy it. I said pick it up. You'll like it.
Damnation's pretty bad. It game's rough. I don't know how games like that happen. Anyway, what do you got?
The Knights game on the Wii.
Which one was... Wait, the Night game on the Wii?
The Knights game. Knight's Journey into Dreamland?
Dreams?
Or into Dreams?
Oh. It was that bad?
It didn't play like the Saturn version of Knights. It was an on-rail kind of like Sonic was, like the Sonic game they made for the Wii. It was an on-rail kind of like shooter-ish type game, and that's not what I remember Knights being.
Yeah.
So I picked that game up. I was so pumped for that game. Picked that game up, ran home, threw it in my Wii. I had just started dating Dawn at the time. I was ignoring her for the weekend. She was at my house. I picked her up at my house, watching me play Nights into Dreams. And I played it for, I think, like 15, 20 minutes. Got to like the 5th or 6th stage and was like, nope, I'm done. And I put it back in the case and I returned it to GameStop. I was just heartbroken.
Well, the first one was pretty good, right? I've never actually played it. I just know a lot of people talk about how great it is on the Saturn.
Yeah, because the Saturn game's amazing, but it's just one of those. They put it to the Wii and said, "Hey, motion controls."
Yeah, that sucks.
So, all right. Last question is your favorite video game soundtracks.
I feel like we meant to do a video game soundtrack episode at some point, and we just never do it.
Correct.
Best soundtracks.
Yeah, give me like 2 or 3.
I will say Final Fantasy X.
Okay.
The music in that game is that good. Let's see, what else? Transistor.
Okay.
And Yoshi's Island for the Super Nintendo.
Okay, I'm gonna say Silver Surfer on the NES.
Didn't we get this question like 3 months ago and you made me listen to that?
I may have.
I'm sure happened because I remember listening to it on the podcast.
Because Silver Surfer on the NES has one of the best soundtracks of all time.
Yeah, it's pretty
all
good.
Time.
It's way better than it has any right to be.
Persona 4.
Yeah.
Has one of my it's one of the few video game soundtracks I own. And can I cheat and say Zelda Orchestral?
Yeah.
Any time that Zelda music is orchestral, it brings tears. Like, there are certain songs that like just move me enough to bring tears to my eyes, because like music just touches me in a good place.
Nice.
So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for tonight. If you guys want to be part of the show, send us questions, especially since we have such slow news. There's nothing happening. It's the summertime. This is what happens. Send us an email, podcast@gamingdeath.com, or you can join us live every Tuesday night at 9:30 on twitch.tv/gamingdeath, and you can ask your questions right in chat like Austin and John did tonight. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out. Remember, guys, head over to geekyantics.net for more great shows just like this one, like Horseplay Live, hosted by the Podfather himself, Yogizilla. They're also live on twitch.tv/geekyantics every Thursday at about, I think, 10:30. I think they moved back further. I'm not positive.
Okay.
If you're listening to us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, make sure you leave us a review. Tell your friends about us. We love new listeners. We love you guys a lot.
We do.
But I think that's going to do it for tonight. I'm Chris.
I'm Hollow.
No, you're not Hollow.
I mean, I'm Kyle.
Have a good night.
Good night, guys.
Welcome to the after show, guys. Austin, John, thanks so much for hanging out. Austin said, by the way, that his favorite soundtracks are Metal Gear Rising, Persona 3, 4, and 5, and Ocarina of Time. And he said, actually, scratch that. I think I might like the Wind Waker OST more than Ocarina of Time. And John said he didn't know his.
He said he might like the Wind Waker OST better than Ocarina of Time?
Than Ocarina of Time.
That's not a bad option. I might even side with you on that, just because Wind Waker has... I mean, Ocarina of Time does too, but Wind Waker has some fucking fantastic music.
Ocarina of Time just holds a really special spot in my heart. So
that's fair.
I also
Cool.
I think that Link to the Past has an amazing soundtrack as well.
I still need to beat that game.
You haven't beaten Link to the Past?
Yeah, we've talked about this.
Why are we live streaming you playing that?
Multiple times I've gotten like halfway through and just like lost interest for whatever reason.
Why are
we like 2 or 3 times I want to say I've done that.
That's a game that we should be walking through. Are you playing that on emulator? Yeah, you're playing it on emulator.
What? I mean, I could.
Link to the Past.
I could.
That's a game that we should be live streaming and me walking you through like we did original Zelda.
Yeah, I think the last time I played it was actually when I was like 15 or 16, and I was actually playing it on a Super Nintendo.
Oh, I thought you were playing it recently.
No, I haven't played it. No, I think that was honestly the last time I played it, and I've meant to always go back and give it at least one more try, but just never have.
Link to the Past is one of, if not, in my opinion, the best Zelda game of all time.
Well, that's the one that really... I mean, obviously the first Zelda is great, but that was the one that really made Zelda, right? That
gave it a lot of its
art and its its design. Yeah.
And the other game that really gave Zelda a lot of its design is Link's Awakening.
Yes, which might actually be my favorite, kind of tied with Majora's Mask. I actually played through Link's Awakening multiple times on Game Boy as a kid.
See, I don't... Okay, as a huge Zelda fan...
Yeah.
I've never gotten to really find out why Majora's Mask is up there.
Why people like Majora's Mask?
Right, because for me, Majora's Mask is like right above the CDI games.
That's so harsh.
Like
Um,
like right above the CDI games. Like Twilight Princess just barely beats it out, but right above the CDI games.
wow, that's harsh.
I don't like the time limit that they give you. I don't like running around as Kid Link. I don't like the mask mechanic. It just didn't feel very like they could have put anybody else there and it didn't have to be a Zelda game.
That was I don't know. I mean, that when it first came out, it was like it was a much harder game than a lot of the games of that style, right?
Well, it was a different style. It wasn't like Ocarina. It was
Well, no,
completely different.
it's very unique. Did you play the 3DS version?
Yeah, of course.
Did you beat it?
Yeah, of course.
And you still didn't like it at all?
No. It more or less solidified the fact that I did not like Majora's Mask.
Wow, that is. Hmm.
It was a lot easier now that I'm older. Like a lot easier now that I'm older.
Well, like I've heard they also made it a lot easier just because the first one was so punishing in like how little it gave you.
Maybe that's what it was then, because the 3DS Majora's Mask was like nothing. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Why
assume it
did
was
I
like
think this game was so hard back in the day?
yeah, no, it was back in the day when I mean I had to walk through that game with a guide, and I remember fucking up some of the dungeons like at least one or two times, and like not being able to finish it fast enough, and then having to restart, which sucks. Um, there was some dungeon I had to do that a few times for. It's very punishing. That was probably made a lot easier in this one too. Just the time constraints that you have.
Austin said that he's going to be honest, Breath of the Wild might be his new favorite Zelda. And Breath of the Wild is very close up there for the top. It beat out Ocarina for me for, my number 2 spot. So, because Breath of the Wild is just an amazing game that takes the series in such a direction that we've never seen Zelda in before.
I'm glad I played Horizon Zero Dawn first, so that I got to kind of play that on its own terms because it's being compared to Zelda so much, and then I can go play Zelda because it's,
They're really two completely different games.
Yeah,
like Horizon is Far Cry with a better story and better gameplay, and Zelda is something completely different.
But I've heard that Zelda is basically like an evolution of that open world gameplay into something much better.
Correct. So what I did was I played Horizon for a while, and then I played Zelda for a whole bunch, and then I tried to go back to Horizon right away, and I felt like Guerrilla didn't do enough for the open world. Like, the open world felt flat compared to what I was just playing in Breath of the Wild. And it really tainted Horizon for me for a very long time until I got back to the game. Just recently, we talked about it on the podcast. And my thing with that was going back to Horizon, being so far out from Breath of the Wild at this point, I was able to sit down and really enjoy Breath of the Wild, enjoy Horizon for what it was, and realize that game is so good and beautiful, and it does so much. Horizon, in terms of open world storytelling.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, well, that's why I compare it to, like, in some ways I feel like it's a poor man's Witcher, but at the same time it still has that emphasis on story, even with like every single side quest and everything you do, which is nice.
Right, like everything in Horizon ties in very nicely to world building and getting to know the terrain and knowing what's going on and kind of unraveling this, like, more to the mystery, because you get the big answer at one point of this is what happened, but there's a lot of moving pieces and missing pieces to that, and the side quests do a good job of filling a lot of past stuff in, as well as what the world currently is.
Yeah, which is why it actually turned out to be pretty nice to do all the side quests and then go do the main quests and then have all my people show up at different points and be like, oh, hey, what's going on? Yeah, but that game does a very good job of tying everything together.
So, whereas, like, my big thing was I went back to Horizon right after Breath of the Wild, and I was, like, trying to jump up cliffs, and I was like, why can't I climb this? Why do I have to follow this set path? Why can't I just go there?
The only awkward thing about Horizon's mechanics is the climbing.
Like, that was my biggest thing with Breath of the Wild. You see a mountain, you can climb that bitch.
You can climb that fucking bitch. Yeah.
There is nothing stopping you from climbing that mountain. Nothing. Like your grip strength and how much stamina you have. That's the only thing stopping you. But you could very easily be like, listen, I want to climb that, and I have enough to climb that, so I'm going to climb that now. Or that mountain all the way there in the distance, I'm going to go there. And there's nothing stopping you. Whereas Horizon, you hit invisible walls.
You do. Unclimbable walls. You can climb a surprising amount of stuff by just billy goating it, like in Skyrim. And I kind of feel like they meant the game to play like that.
But that's a problem.
I don't know. I think it's kind of fun. And, like, it seems like they definitely devised puzzles around that. Like, it felt like it. And I was kind of like, this is weird, but this is okay. It's still better than the fucking parkouring, which is just kind of, It's there.
See, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know. I'm really excited for the DLC for Horizon. I've already pre-ordered it. Ready to jump into that.
Yeah, same here.
Zelda, I have the season pass for that as well. I was playing some of the hard stuff last night. So, I think it's hard mode. I was doing something last night on it. I can't remember. I was like...
Was it Master Run or something like that?
I don't know. I just plugged it in and it was like, hey, this needs to update for 4... Your Wii U has to update for 4 hours, so have fun. So by the time I finally got to actually start playing Zelda, it was almost 3 a.m. And I played for literally 10 or 15 minutes and was like, time to go to bed.
Wow.
Yes, Austin, you do need to get back to Horizon. My biggest question is how close you played it to the original to playing Zelda, because when I played it right after playing Zelda, I thought Horizon was a terrible game. I badmouthed it hard, and I thought that it just didn't hold the candle to anything else, and I thought it was really reductive, and it just didn't hold up. It just wasn't a very good game, and after 3-4 months of not playing Horizon and being out from Zelda for like 2 months, going back to Horizon, I was like, oh, this game's actually not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
I have a lot of fun playing this game.
Horizon?
Yeah, Horizon. Yeah. He said not close at all, though. He played Zelda at launch and played Horizon in June. So.
Yeah. I really like Horizon. I thought Horizon was awesome.
All right, guys. We're going to wrap up the pre-show now. Guys on YouTube, thanks for checking out the video. Make sure you guys, press that like button, leave us a comment. Check it all the time. But you guys have a good night, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.